Welcome back to For the Road. I know I haven't uploaded in a few weeks, but the last month has been pretty busy and pretty productive. I've moved into this new workshop, which is dedicated to vintage Alphas, and stuff on the GTV has been progressing pretty quickly. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen the process of getting this car down to metal, which was mostly chemical paint stripper, low pressure sandblasting, and wire brushing. This car had about 4 layers of paint and 2 layers of spray filler. It took a really long time to get it down to metal. It was about the same as stripping 4 cars down. Now everything's pretty much exposed. It still has its suspension in, front and rear. The steering and brake lines and the brake master cylinders and that are all in. So before I can get it really properly down to metal, down to a bare shell, I'm going to have to strip all of that out, get the headliner out, get the steering out, and put it on a dolly so it can be cleaned up on the underside and can start the process of the metal repair work. At the rear of the car, the rear axle is already out. It was never really bolted into this car properly. It was just kind of sitting on it. So the trailing arms and the shocks and the springs and the limiting straps, that's still all in place. And need to pull that out. Up front, everything is still in place. I haven't pulled out anything. Just the anti-roll bar is hanging down. Those are the only bolts that have been undone so far. Last night I came in here and put some oil on all the bolts that hold the steering and the suspension and everything in. So hopefully there's not going to be anything that's seized. But let's get this car in the air and start stripping it down. The underside of this car is not looking very tidy at all. There's a lot of rust, a lot of old dirt and grease and grime and mud, and all the old brake lines and master cylinders and that. So I'm going to get this thing stripped completely bare, get it on a dolly, and hopefully get it cleaned up. I was in here quite late last night, stripping out the last of all the suspension components, and it's a pretty easy process. It just takes a certain amount of time. It's a lot of dealing with old rusty bolts and things like that, stuff that hasn't been loosened in years. But the car is pretty much down to a shell. There's only a few things that need to go, and that's like this bonnet stay, the hood liner, and the pedals, which I haven't taken out yet. When I pulled the steering box out, I found some original paint. That's really still nice and shiny. That's a good indicator of this car's original maroon color. I know it was maroon because it had this plate on it anyway. But that's this car's original color. It's not going to go back to being maroon, that's for sure. So all this stuff that I pulled out is, none of it's in really bad condition. There are no badly worn out parts. Even like the idler arm doesn't even seem to have any play in it. But it all needs to be overhauled, cleaned up, fresh coat of paint, new bushes, all that. It'll go back in. The brake and clutch master cylinders, I took them out with their hydraulic lines still attached. I'm going to make up brand new lines front to back for this car because that's old and rusty and not really good for anything. The headliner is still in the car. Quickly drop that out. That shouldn't take too long. Right, now that that headliner is out and the wiring for the interior lights has been removed as well, this car is as stripped down as is possible to get a 105. The next step is going to be to fabricate a dolly for this car to live on so I can move it between all the places it needs to go for sandblasting and paint stripper, and eventually the metal repair as well. I haven't decided how far I'm going to go with restoring the metal work on this car. Because it's going to be a rally car, I'm not sure I want concourse perfect bodywork that I'm going to, of course, have a heart attack every time someone opens their car door into it in a car park. That's still to be decided. I think I'm definitely going to do the sills, or the outer sills at least, the bottom of the fenders and under the front bumper, the front valance. Get those repair panels in from Classic Alpha. I think that's going to be the best option to get a neat and tidy job. Right, thanks for watching this episode of For the Road. It's a bit of a short one, just a basic introduction to the new workshop and a look at, what a 105 is like stripped down to bare metal. Thanks for watching. If you don't follow me on Instagram, check me out there for daily photographs and updates. Cheers.
So I thought I needed. So I thought I needed.